Prosecutor Billy Downer says Zuma has no right to seek the recusal of judicial officials. In papers filed in the High Court in Pietermaritzburg, Downer argues that Judge Piet Koen should deny Zuma leave to appeal the dismissal of his special plea. Now, the former president claims that Downer has no title to prosecute as he has a deep-seated bias against him. For more on this, I am joined by legal analyst Mpumelelo Zikalala. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. What essentially forms the crux of the legal argument being put forward by former President Jacob Zuma?
He's basically saying, firstly, the decision in which I want you to take as the court is that of the final one, and that if you find for me, the results of that is that all these matters in which, or the charges which I'm faced with will then go away. Now it makes or brings the finality part of the decision, which is what is going to matter the most of whether the decision is appealable or not. And then he goes on to say, the reason why I want you to do that, I want you to extend the definition of no title to prosecute not only to administrative requirements as we have it today, but also to the conduct of the prosecutor. In that the conduct of this particular prosecutor has infringed my rights so much as the Constitution that he has no title to prosecute. So that is basically the crux of what the former president is saying, and what the Pietermaritzburg High Court will have to decide on whether to agree to this appeal or not.
Zuma has also said that Downer is lacking in independence and impartiality and will not be able to give him a lawful prosecution. How much substance comes with his argument, especially as the court was also speaking about what title essentially can be defined as?
Maybe we must first start and look at the current definition of the title to prosecute, which is based on the Porret case. It is mainly based on the administrative part of it. Do you have the prerequisite title to prosecute as per the NPA Act? Do you then subscribe to NPA Code of Conduct? Various case law before this one have stated that ordinarily a prosecutor is going to be biased against you because they want to win. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that they're able to put the state case through. Now, they don't have to like you or to love you, because at the end of the day, they want to prove their case. But what they have to do is to stick to what the law has stated, stick to the provisions of the law. So in this case, and in the case which was submitted by the former president, there is no way in which he goes deeper into saying, this is the particular conduct that you have engaged in, this is what I want the court to look at, and then we then come back to the conclusion of saying the evidence which we are going to use is not authentic enough in order for you to convict me. There are other things that you have drawn into this particular matter which are solely based on your need or your desire to see me behind bars. So you have gone beyond the scope of being a normal prosecutor. You've gone beyond the scope of being a diligent prosecutor. You're actually trying to prosecute me in means and in ways which are not that fair, or not that fair. Now, one would ask the question, why did you then wait, in this case, a former president, why did you then wait up until the last minute in order to go and complain? Why don't you complain to the NPA? Why don't you complain to the Legal Practice Council? Why wait for so much time before you actually bring this matter to the courts? And you actually went and made this application without those complaints being part of the actual matter.
The court has on numerous occasions said that perhaps this is another attempt by Zuma to have his prosecution permanently stayed.
One may argue and say, yes, that may be the case, because if the results are in favor of the former president, then the results in which they seek is that they are saying no one can be able to prosecute him because it's not only Advocate Billy Downer that is an issue. In fact, it's the whole NPA. Now, I don't see them succeeding in that particular sense, because at the end of the day, the merits of the case must be threshed out within a court of law in a public platform, and the law must apply in a manner that even us as members of the public will have confidence that the various issues have been traversed properly. Now, I do not think that that particular argument is going to suffice. They may say, or the best case scenario would be, Advocate Billy Downer will then be recused, another prosecutor will then come in, but at the end of the day, the charges against the former president will have to be answered to by the former president. If there is evidence, which is prima facie evidence that you must come and answer at court, that's exactly what you must do. And after that has been done, the evidence has been assessed by the court, then a verdict will be reached.
Downer, in the argument that Zuma has no right to appeal, has also said that Koen's dismissal of his plea to the Supreme Court now, and that he can only do so only after he's convicted and sentenced.
I do not agree with that particular statement. Let's remember, let's see the results of this particular application. If it succeeds, it then means that he can't be prosecuted anymore, so it brings the matter to finality. So any decision that brings the matter to finality can't be reviewed. You can't carry on up until you have traversed that particular point. You have to go into an appeals court, which is a higher court that you are in, and let that particular appeal court deal with the matter. So the strategy or the formula which must be used in this one is to say, are you looking for an order which, when given, is going to bring the matter to finality? If the answer to that is yes, then an appeal must succeed.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now. Thank you for your time and analysis. Legal analyst Mpumelelo Zikalala going and weighing in there on Zuma's grounding and chances of success, as he's been told that he has no right to appeal the judge's refusal to remove him. Of course, it is a developing story, and we will be bringing you the latest on the developments as they happen.